What is up, everybody? This is Baxter Street Boys. I'm your host, Cole Wilcox, joined as always by co-host Jake Gordon and our producer, Griffin Rudy. Dogs are 4-0, and that's as simple as I can make it. We got a lot to talk about this game, though. I think we're going to have some different emotional opinions about it. We might really hash it out in this one. I'm not sure how it's going to go, really. I haven't talked to Griffin and Jake much about what they're feeling, but just knowing them, knowing me, I think we might have some difference of opinion here. So it should be a good one. Guys, if you could please like and subscribe to the channel, that would be much appreciated. We already can't thank you enough for the growth that we've seen already. Y'all continue to support us a lot. But other than Georgia, just an unbelievable slate on Saturday. Going into it, it just looked like one of the best slates of the year, and it kind of delivered. 2 all-time games. So we're going to get into all that, but obviously lead with the Dogs. So without further ado, let's just get right into it.
The Dogs! It's the Sandler, baby!
Oh, he's running over people! Just stepped on their face with a hobnail boot.
The freshman just ran it back to Philadelphia. No! Goal! Your sideline, and it's intercepted. Intercepted, Keely Ringo. Touchdown, Georgia.
I know I'm asking a lot, you guys, but hunker it down one more time.
All right, boys, how we feeling?
I've been better, but we're rolling. I'm ready to get started. Ugh.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I was at a wedding, didn't get to watch most of the game live, but I watched the whole thing today. So I've got some thoughts, but I don't think I'm going to be near as harsh as most people have been being. So
yeah, didn't cover the alternate spread for my teaser. Not happy about that. 29.5, guys. Come on, that's not that much.
Yeah, that. I mean, they're giving away free money in the Georgia games right now. Just have we covered one time? We're 0-4 against the spread, right? Have to be.
yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, I'm cooped up in a hotel in Sarasota. I have to come down here. I flew down today. I fly back Tuesday. Have exit meetings. I'll let you make your own judgments on that. But anyway, let's talk about football. The Dogs. So I want to preface with this. I tweet out something the other day about what would make you satisfied coming out of this game. And it was like on Thursday. It got a million comments. And I would say 60%, 65% of the comments were like, just win.
mm-hmm.
Listen, we've had this account for over a year now. I've been on Georgia Twitter for a long time. I know good and well that none of y'all that commented that truly believe that, because we have some psychos in this fan base, and we're spoiled at this point. Like, used to, that may have been true. Just win the game. But when we're going to play UAB, I can promise you that is not. You're not telling the truth by saying just win, and it proved that way because Twitter is an absolute nightmare right now. So if you commented just win under our post, check yourself. Baxter Street Boys is not a place for coach speak. All right, you tell us how you freaking feel. We tell you how we feel. We don't sugarcoat anything. That's bullcrap. I expect better next time. When I ask what makes you satisfied, do not say just win, because there's only one game a year that y'all feel that way. That's the national championship, and we'll still find a way to complain about some things here and that.
Listen, they weren't the only ones lying either. They're the ones that said just win. The ones that said opening drive touchdown. That made you satisfied. We got that. I guarantee you those guys weren't satisfied.
Yeah. I couldn't believe people were saying just win against UAB. I'm like, I wasn't born yesterday. Like, I know way better than this. It was unbelievable to me. But yeah, we did win in convincing fashion. But there was some hiccups. We have to address. Let's just start from the beginning of the game. Kind of roll down what happened. First drive was beautiful. I mean, we just cut them up, went right down the field. They came out with a pretty deep ball over the middle. Was it Rara that caught it or Love It?
Yeah, it was Love It.
Love It right over the middle. Got to one of our best players in space. Got Carson in rhythm. Ran the ball well. Punched her right in the end zone. I'm like, all right, here we go. Finally, we're finally just going to open up a can and take it to the house. Well, then we just stalled out. The next thing you know, it's 7-7. So what went wrong? What happened?
You go ahead, Griff.
I mean, I don't know, dude. Just some stupid mistakes really made it look super ugly early. Honestly, we stalled on some drives in the first quarter after that first drive, and then the fumble. Was that on a punt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a punt. But Muse does no wrong in my eyes, so I don't care about the fumble.
Yeah, I mean, the fumble, it doesn't really bother me that
special
much.
Special teams mishaps, they make my skin crawl.
It made it easy to give up a touchdown there, give up some points at least. So we are, when it comes down to it, we are missing some guys right now. We're missing some dudes right now.
No, we're not doing this. It's UAB. Like, that excuse, sure. Like, keep it in the back pocket, I guess. We are missing dudes, and yeah, like it's gonna affect us. But we haven't had Ladd all season, so like this is the team we have. We're fairly healthy at running back at this point. Like Edwards is our guy. Milton's out. Milton has been hurt a long time. We got who we need. Like Dylan Bell's back there running the ball. We're fine. Whatever. Receiver, we're so deep it shouldn't matter. We talked about how deep we were going into the season all year long, so we shouldn't be mad about Ladd. Offense is pretty freaking healthy other than Mims. Like let's be legit. Ladd and Mims are our two big missing pieces. They're out. Okay, so what? We should still be able to block UAB. Offensive line played fine. Like I had no problem.
Yeah, I thought they played okay. We still didn't run the ball that well though.
Let me look at the stats. I thought we ran it fine, but
I think we only finished like 150 yards, something like that.
I think it was Dr. SEC, which I don't understand why. A lot of Georgia fans don't like this guy.
Yeah, I think it's pretty real.
He just doesn't he just doesn't tell Georgia fans what they want to hear, basically, and so they go after him and get mad. But he had a really great point earlier. I'm trying to find it because he does talk about us a lot. But I mean, he said basically it was something about how this team doesn't have like a Nakobe Dean in the middle or doesn't have a Roquan Smith in the middle, and I was like, yeah, they do. It's just Javon Bullard, and he hasn't been playing.
Yes, that is definitely the biggest loss. That's the one that like he's our spark plug on defense. I've been very disappointed with the middle linebackers. I want to get to that later. I don't want to harp on that yet. Griff, we rushed for 188 yards, 5.2 yards a carry.
Oh,
I don't know how much more we can ask for there.
Yeah, never mind.
I thought we ran the ball just fine. I thought we threw the ball just fine. I really don't have a problem with the offense. Everybody's blaming the offense for this stuff. Like, you're not going to score every drive. We did go 4 and out.
They scored 49 points. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't really understand. Like, all right, so the second drive after we scored, we get the ball, get to Bowers for 10 yards for a first down, Andrew Paul for 4 yards, Beck does an incomplete pass, and then he's sacked. All right, whatever. Yeah, that just happens. Next drive was 10 plays. We moved the ball down the field, and then we just stalled out at the UAB 23, and did we miss a field goal? Or we went for it? Well, we went for it. Yeah. Look, I mean, we drove the ball. We go for it on fourth down, whatever. And everybody's like, oh, Beck's off. He don't do this, don't do that. Beck, I don't know if y'all check the stat book. Stat books lie sometimes. Okay, maybe so. But Beck went 22 of 32 for 338, 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. Well, was he perfect? No, he was not perfect. But he didn't drop a deep ball. He did overthrow one. Like, that's going to happen. He put one right on the money. It was dropped. He's a very accurate passer. He doesn't put the ball in harm's way. Yes, he does check down some, but, it's better to check down than just force stuff over the middle. And how many times did he get sacked?
No, see, this is the thing that gets me with Georgia fans sometimes. And I don't want to be a hater right now. But Carson Beck did what he did on Saturday. Jake Fromm had maybe one game in his whole career that looked like that in the box score. And Georgia fans will die for him. And I don't understand. Right. What is so different here? Like, it was always the next guy until Jake Fromm came around, and nobody ever wanted the next guy. They wanted Jake Fromm. And then Stetson Bennett comes. I can
tell you why, but we'll have that conversation off the show.
Stetson Bennett wins 2 national championships. People were still trying to run him off until, halfway through last year, but it's always the next guy. Beck's been fine this year. I feel like he's the least of our problems right now.
Yeah,
Dude,
and you
I'm not
also
gonna lie
like
to
you
y'all.
also have to consider he probably lost 50 to 60 yards on Arian Smith dropping maybe the easiest touchdown of his life.
Yeah.
That was a beautiful
Like,
deep ball.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I love the way our offense looked this year. Like, there has been some moments where you see growing pains, but our top 2 receivers are transfers, a brand new quarterback. We have one healthy running back, and the other one is Dylan Bell. Our right tackle is out. I know I just said no excuses here, but like, I think it's looked pretty good. Like, and the numbers would back that up. Really, anybody that knows anything about football would back that up. The offense has looked good. Has Beck missed some throws? Yes, but there's none where I'm thinking and I'm like, wow, that was just a terrible throw. Like, Beck is the reason this drive stalled. Like, it's been very few times I've thought that, especially this past game. The real issue in this game to me, which kind of pissed me off, the defense was atrocious. Like, we can skip around it and say whatever we want to. It was not good. When UAB got the ball back before half, marched right down the field and scored, that was the most embarrassing drive we've had on defense in the Kirby Smart era. And I know we're spoiled here, and that's part of it. Like, we've watched the defense just dominate for the past however many years. That right there was the first sign of complacency to me that I've seen in a Kirby Smart team in a long time. Like, that was not good at all. It was tough to see. I don't see that fire from JDJ that I see a lot. I don't see that fire from Smile right now. Malachi was just kind of hit or miss this game. Like, he's still good, but it wasn't like he was coming downhill, laying the wood, getting up and telling somebody about it. Like, it just seemed like the defense had no interest in being there. I get it. It's UAB. It's our 4th game. We're coming off a tough fought game against South Carolina. It is tough, but that's not what championship teams do.
Yeah,
Like,
and I mean, these past 2 years, dude, the D, they took pride, and even the little teams, like, they didn't want them to get in the end zone ever, and they were pissed when they did. So
yes.
we need that fire back, man. I don't know what it's going to take, like what kind of wake up call they need, like to finally get into it. I thought it was maybe South Carolina in the first half, Spencer Rattler kind of ripping them a new one, and then they played great.
They looked great in the second half. They looked unbelievable. They looked like a Georgia defense second half.
But they just it didn't carry over to this next game. So.
Yeah, you know what I always like to say, excuses are like elbows and assholes. We all got them. There's no use in talking about it, but I hate that Oklahoma game got canceled. That really could cause some problems. Like, I feel like that was going to keep them, like, it's nice to have something early in the year to kind of keep you on your toes, and now they don't have that, and then they're going to go to an Auburn team that just threw for 56 yards in a actual legitimate SEC football game. By the way, I saw a crazy stat today. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it's like Auburn hasn't passed for like 100 yards in their last 5 Power 5 games or something crazy like that. Like, they're pathetic.
Disgusting. Yeah, Auburn is freaking terrible. Like, Auburn is terrible. We should come out. We should go to Jordan Hare and boat race him on Saturday. Anything less than that,
I don't think we're going to.
Anything less than that will be disappointing to me. And there'll be so many people saying in our comments, like, are y'all serious right now, blah, blah. Listen, beating Auburn is always good. Screw Auburn. Jordan Hare is a tough place to play. But, like, if you can't go into that game motivated, I sat here and told y'all I watched that entire Auburn-Cal game. That's 2 of the worst teams I've ever seen play football. It was awful. It made me like the sport less. Auburn sucks. We have to go open a can on them on the road. Tear them a new one. It's our first road game of the year. Usually you're like, well, I expect some jitters. First game of the year, blah, blah, blah. Screw all that. Go in there, whip their tail, send the crowd home early, and get the heck back home. Like, we need a statement game on Saturday. Because it's been slow. My only issue with the freaking offense is we don't snap the ball unless there's 10 seconds left on the play clock. Like, maybe we need a little rhythm going every now and then.
Yeah.
Operate with a little bit. I'm not asking for a hurry-up offense. That's the last thing I want. But I would like, after a big run or something, get to line pretty quick, snap it, hit a quick route, get going. Like, sometimes when your offense, it just feels slow sometimes. It feels sluggish. Everything
Mike
about this team
Bobo's
feels a little bit
offenses have
sluggish
always felt that way too. And I don't hate Mike Bobo like everyone else, but they have always felt really slow.
No, Mike Bobo has called a heck of a game so far. Like, every game so far, I feel like Mike Bobo has called a really, really good game. And against South Carolina in the first half, it felt like he wasn't. But, like, it takes players executing the game plan too. Like, you have to be willing to take some shots. And Beck corrected that in the second half, and he did it all UAB. He was throwing the ball everywhere.
No,
we're hitting more explosive plays this year than we ever did with Monken. You can check the numbers. They're like everything is there. Everything is in place. I really think it's just the mentality of the players at this point to go out there and wear somebody out. Like, don't play around. Wear them out. Like, don't settle. Don't settle for this.
I would also say the team has probably played 3 complete quarters of complimentary football, and 2 of those were the second half of the South Carolina game, to where the offense and the defense are both actually clicking. And then the rest of the time, it's just been somebody's dragging ass. Sorry, Coda, I didn't mean to wake you up, buddy.
And I do expect, like, I'm not worried about the defense. It's just like a frustrating thing because you know how good they are and how talented they are, and you know.
I kind of thought after they got showed up last week, they'd be a little more sincere.
Yeah, and I think that's where it stems from. This little outburst I've had, but like guys like JDJ and Bullard, who I know is hurt right now, Starks, like all these guys play with such a passion and play with like such a fire, and I just haven't seen that yet. And I expect that to be corrected pretty quick. Like JDJ's a dog. He's a leader. Like he knows he needs to be better. I'm fully aware of that. Not just on the playing field. I'm not saying he's played bad, but like better as a leader. Like we need him in the middle doing it.
Well, I think that's one of the main things we're missing with Bullard not being on the field too. He hypes up our defense too. Like they get fired up when Javon Bullard comes up and drills somebody, and it just. I don't know. I'm really hoping that this Auburn game next week, they want to go in there and embarrass them like we've done to a lot of SEC teams on the road for the past 2 years. And like, I don't know, maybe that'll be the turning point is just going on the road and finally getting a chance to just embarrass somebody.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't look like I think it's going to look, because there's a way that I think it's going to look, and I don't think a lot of people are going to like that.
Well, if you play Auburn's game, it's going to look terrible because they suck. Like, they're so bad. There's nothing about them good. It's just ugly football. And so if we end up going in there and playing at that level, it is going to be a nasty football game. So we have to correct that quick. I hope it doesn't pull down. I hope it doesn't come down to this.
But I could see it being like a 35-10 game, but it's going to be the ugliest 25-point win you've ever seen in your life. Like, it's just going to look so bad.
What's the spread of that game? Is there a spread?
I think we're like 12.5-point favorites. I think
12.5.
It opened up as 14.
It might still be around that. I thought it might have been 14.5 that I saw, but it's not a lot. I mean, we haven't covered a spread all year. I don't know why.
What do you mean, Griff? We haven't covered a spread yet.
I know, but I mean, like, I'm still gonna hammer it if it's 12.5.
I'm taking the under.
It's like I really don't want it to come down to this because that would suck. But like a loss might not be the worst thing for this team.
They're gonna have to lose.
Just a kick in the face, like, yo, we're not invincible. Like,
let's play a fun game. If you guys were to lose, if we were to lose to somebody, who would you guys want?
Ole Miss,
Kentucky. I could say Kentucky, Missouri,
somewhere on the road against a non-Tennessee team.
Yeah, or Florida. Neither of those two, and I'm okay.
Yeah, definitely not Florida. Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. I just watch all these other teams in the league right now, and nobody really looks that good and that dominant, and it's just frustrating that we're in that mix too. It's like I can't sit here and comfortably say that we're just better than everybody right now, and we should be able to.
Aren't.
But
we're
it's
definitely
like
not.
We have a lot to correct. We have a lot to get going. We're still very good. We're still a top 4 team in the country, 100%. But it ain't like if we squared up with Michigan or we squared up with even Bama on a neutral field.
I think Washington might wear us out right now.
Washington would score on us. They can score. I think we'd score at will on them as well. But the problem, the issue here is we just haven't separated ourselves from the pack, and that's what we all have grown to expect. We have the talent to do it. I think everybody knows that. I really do think we will, but we can't. We have to put together 4 quarters. Until we put together 4 quarters, I can't comfortably say that.
I'd say we barely look like. I mean, like, really, if I trying to do like the fake motivation thing, like there's probably 2 or 3 teams I'd have ahead of us. I'd probably have Florida State maybe. That they've been a little bit shaky, but Texas, I'd probably put Texas ahead of us. Washington, I mean, dude, it's like they
I'm
just
so
don't.
biased. I can't even talk about this. There's not a team in the world.
They look bad, Griff. You know they do. They look bad.
We don't
and
look bad. Bad is not the word to use. We look not as good as we could.
As on it's graded on a scale.
We're not meeting expectations right now.
I mean, there has been multiple periods throughout the year where we've looked legitimately bad.
There's certain quarters
South
where
Carolina
if we play a quarter like that against a good team, we'll be down 21.
South Carolina for the first, but we haven't looked. I mean, it just bad is not the word I'd use.
We looked bad against South Carolina the first half. We looked bad. Yeah. We were down 14-3. They whipped us. They marched right down the field twice. We gave up a third down in the red zone, third and long in the red zone. We looked bad.
Hell, we might have lost to Oklahoma if we played that game.
No, they suck.
They didn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a home game.
But the thing about it is, there has been some teams tested, like Jake's talking about. Florida State has been tested twice now and has 2 really, really good wins.
Washington has not been tested. Washington has not been tested.
It's tough. Yeah, it's tough to quantify that.
Texas has been tested.
Texas has been tested. But there's some teams who have been tested, and we have been tested. It was just by South Carolina at home, which is
Oregon has
really
been
not
tested.
what you want. Oregon is good.
They played Colorado, who should have been a top 10 team.
Maybe this is just Oregon, we'd still whip their asses. Maybe that's just recency bias, but I kind of still feel like they would have that memory of that game, and I think we'd have a mental.
Carson Beck did score more points than Bo Nix in that game last year, so
that is true.
No, and I really don't want to sit here and sound like it's doomsday, but I'm not going to sit here like.
I'm not going to sit here and sunshine pump.
Great. Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean for sure. I'm in the same boat. I mean, like it hasn't been sunshines and rainbows this year so far. It's been different than it has.
I've not enjoyed this college football season, which is a shame because we've had so many good games. I don't know if it's just people online on Twitter just being so astronomically dumb, or just the fact that Georgia has been like. I feel like I could just feel a loss creeping up on Georgia, or what this season.
I know what my main issue has been. My main issue has been that I can't win a single bet. But
yeah, if that was, I don't know if that was your issue, you wouldn't enjoy any season because you did come in last year in our betting rates.
I still fully believe. I believe that we were the best team in the country. Could I sit here and argue tooth and nail with someone and feel smart? No. I think that's where I'm at this point. It's not like I can comfortably sit and argue with someone that we're the best team in the country and feel like I'm for sure coming out of that conversation winning the argument.
Do I
believe it? Yes.
I've said it. I said it. I said it online. I'll stand by it. The best team I've watched with my own 2 eyes all year is Washington. Do they? Does that mean they're better than us? But the ones that teams that I've watched, they've been the best consistently.
Well, they're taking care of business for sure. So that's really like my takeaway from this game. I know we kind of got off track, but it's just yes, we turn it on when we need to, and that's great to see because that's what you have to do. But it'd be nice
to be ready so you don't have to get ready
in the middle of the game.
It'd be nice to have it turned on all the time like we have the past 2 years. It feels like,
and there has been struggle. It's not like we've come out the last 2 years and just blown everyone out. There has been struggle.
Yeah, Missouri last year was a big part of it. And that Missouri game last year, the South Carolina game this year never felt like the Missouri game did last year to me.
I thought we were going to lose
halftime. It sure did.
I don't think.
Hear it, dude.
No, dude, I thought we were going to lose both.
But no. Yeah, the Missouri game was bad, but it went on for 4 quarters. Is all I'm saying. Like we struggled for 4 quarters in that game. And in the South Carolina game, we struggled for 2.
Everybody wants to compare this Missouri game. Why were you upset at the Missouri game last year? Like, what the root cause? Why were you so mad at it?
Because we couldn't run the ball.
No, it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that game. It started from game 1 because you saw exactly what we could do in that year. You saw how good we could be when we played Oregon. We have not seen.
But that was the difference. Was the difference.
This game is not comparable to Missouri. This South Carolina game is not comparable to Missouri because we have not seen this team at full strength. For all we know, that's the best we can play.
We had already
not,
pistol whipped Oregon. We do not have that game under our belt this year. We do not
Griff,
have
have a serious
top
conversation
10
right here
team
for a
just
minute.
absolutely.
You have not
I
seen
am.
how good we can be.
No, we haven't seen it yet, but we can be better than
Exactly.
what we have
So
been all
it's
year.
not comparable. It's not comparable.
But that's the difference. Yeah. That's what I agree. You're like, if
And-
we had seen that, if we had gone to Oklahoma and beat Oklahoma's ass by 42 points in Norman, and we were doing this, I'd be like, okay, let's calm down a little bit. But that's just not the case.
Yeah, we'd be fine. It's like, all right, we're just struggling right now. It's like, no, we've played 4 games, and we've yet to play 4 complete quarters.
I'm impressed.
Like, streaky teams don't win championship. That's just not what happens. So until we figure that out, like, we really can't get that upset. You just have to be happy with the highs and ride with the lows, because there's nothing to gauge this on. We're not last year's team. We're not the team before. Like, this team has to have their own identity. They have to prove themselves, and they have not yet. They have not shown us what a full, like, complete game 2023 Georgia Bulldogs look like.
Well, it's a good thing that it's a 15-game long season.
You hope.
That is true. Well, yeah, hopefully it's 15.
At the best.
I would love for it to be 15.
I mean, Clemson not put together 4 good quarters either, and their series or their season will not be 14 games or 15 games.
Yeah, well, they suck. So
they don't suck. I mean, they just took.
They don't suck. They don't suck.
Okay,
but
yeah, let's get into it. Should we go ahead and get into it? Are we done?
Yeah, let's just start there. Let's start.
Well,
there.
guys, actually, hang on. Before we do start, please like and subscribe. This is kind of when we transition from the UGA talk to more general college football talk. We try to be a little more goofy and a little more lighthearted with this. So if you enjoy that type of stuff, stick around. And stick around every week.
Florida State Clemson. It was an all-time classic. It really was. It was awesome. Awesome game. And this is where, like, you can compare it to Georgia last year, is because you saw how good Clemson can be for 3 quarters of this game. Really 4 quarters. Like, you had the unfortunate defensive touchdown for Florida State.
That was backbreaking in that game.
Swung the momentum. But, like, you look back at that
game.
Duke game, and Duke is a good team. Don't get me wrong. But if you're a Clemson fan, you're looking at that week 1 and you're like, why? Why do we not play like this? That's where the frustration that all Georgia fans have is, like, why are we not playing like this? But we have no basis. They saw it for 3 quarters against Florida State. It was really good. Clemson really just wore them out, like, plain and simple. Clemson's DBs played unbelievable.
They really did. They played really
all
good
game and just locked up, like, 2 of the best receivers in the country pretty much the whole time. Like, he got loose once, and then he made some really good plays another time. But they were 1-on-1 all day, and they rose the challenge. They played their balls off. Will Shipley played his balls off. Cade Klubnik really played good. They had a chance to put them away.
They have a stupid-ass kicker. We had this conversation last week.
I was about to say, they played a great game, all for it to come down to their freaking dork kicker to miss a 29-yarder to not win the game.
Also, yeah, why are you running a double reverse pass on the goal line when you're trying to run down the clock? That was a stupid play call. They'd lost that game.
Yeah.
Moving
forward,
they didn't. Yeah.
Florida State, another good win. Like, they're just stacking good wins. That's as tested as you're going to get. Clemson at Clemson, and they rose the challenge. Now they literally have to beat Miami, and they'll have to beat Duke, and that's about it. NC State's terrible.
I will be betting Duke against Notre Dame this week.
Notre Dame goes to Duke this week. That's right.
That'll be
big
dicey.
time letdown spot too.
That'll be dicey. Yeah, and then the 3:30 slate was supposed to be the slate that just absolutely delivered, and it turned out to be a stinker, a dud.
Yeah,
brutal. Alabama Ole Miss was close for a half, but it was not good football. It was really bad football, actually. And then Bama pulled away in the second half. Bama whipped their tail in the second half. And I think if you're a Bama fan, you have to be pleased with that second half performance. That's the best they've looked all year.
I couldn't explain to you how pissed off I would be if I was an Ole Miss fan, but Lane Kiffin, the way he talks about Alabama and Nick Saban, like, it's so, dude, I would be like, shut up. Could you imagine if we lost to, like, I guess Tennessee would be pretty comparable. Could you imagine if we lost to Tennessee and Kirby was over there, like, fawning over their program? Do you know how mad that would make me?
No, the Lane Kiffin shined more off on me about 2 years ago. Like, he was funny when he first came in, and, like, he's cool on Twitter.
He wants to be the coach after Nick Saban leaves, and that's why he keeps doing
so
this.
Bad. But yeah, his little shtick to me has been up for a while.
Yeah.
He He's a solid coach. He's not a great coach. I would love for him to get the job at Alabama because I do not believe that he would be even close. Like, nobody's ever going to be close to what Saban did, but, like, I think he would make them just a middle-of-the-pack SEC West team. Like, he has – Ole Miss is barely middle of the pack. Like, they had the 1-10-win season. Last year they started 7-0 and then lost their last 5 until Mississippi. They beat Mississippi State at the end. But
Wise Jr.,
Lane Kiffin,
who quite literally had the dead last ranked offense in the country last year.
Yeah.
126 out of 120.
Has still, I think maybe Mississippi State last year would be the only one. I think it is the only conference team he has beaten that finished with above a 500 record.
They didn't beat Mississippi State. They didn't beat Mississippi State last year.
Mississippi State beat them?
Yeah, they lost to them.
Yeah, so never lost the last 5 games.
He's never beaten someone with a above 500 record. I don't know if that's in SEC play or what.
It is. It's an SEC play.
Yeah.
Conference. He's never beat a conference opponent that finished above 500. Like, he doesn't. Crazy. He feasts on teams that his team is better than, right? When all cards are equal, he's getting beat. And Bama, we say it every year. I feel like they play them. Like, last year was really, like, at home. But they had Bryce Young. Bryce Young is better than everybody else. This year, they go in. Like, it is such a prime opportunity. The first half, they go right down the field and score. They stop them multiple times. Like, Alabama's just giving them all these chances to go score, and they don't do it. And then Bama just took them over the second half. So, yeah, I think it's a massive blown opportunity for Lane Kiffin. If I'm Ole Miss, I'm like, you want Lane Kiffin there because you're Ole Miss, but I would be like you said, Jake, the way he talks about Bama and stuff like that, I would be kind of done with it. The other games in 3:30 slate.
Colorado, Oregon went exactly.
Oregon.
We can't. We'll be here till 1:30 if we get into the tangent that I want to get into. But let's just say, like, I don't understand why Dan Lanning's not getting credit for winning this game.
Yeah. I mean, first it was, why is this team not a top 10 team, ranked top 10? Like, look what they've done. And then as soon as Oregon beats them by 50, it's, well, why is Dan Lanning acting so like he did something special? He took over a program that's winning, and Deion's doing this. Dude, just give me a freaking break. Like, yeah, it's one thing to pull for Deion and be a fan and, like, want them to do well, because it is a fun story. It's been awesome to watch what they've done this year. But, like, don't be a baby about it when they lose. Like, don't act like Lanning said something out of pocket in that pregame message. Like, he's just doing the same thing every other coach in the country does.
He's doing the same thing
Dan Lanning's one of the best at it.
That's what Deion does. Deion's like, they don't believe in you. It's the same thing. It's literally the same
you don't, but, like, genuinely, like, tell me he's not telling the truth a little bit there. Like, Deion's whole shtick is, like, yeah, they're going to be a good football team, but also everybody's going to watch. Like, they want people to tune in. They want the clicks. They want that. Like, I mean, nothing he said was really off, just not on
whether it was true or not. It really doesn't matter. Did it motivate his team? And clearly it did. So he did his job. That's what he's paid to do, is win games. He won it convincingly, and Oregon is a national title contender, in my opinion. That's really all I have to say. But I don't want to spend too much time talking about a game that was 50 points. It was just an absolute beatdown.
I just don't understand how you can't tip the cap and say, yeah, that's a good team. They beat them.
And Deion did. He literally did.
The problem's never been with Deion, man. It's the people who just fawn over him like he's their fucking daddy.
Deion is not the problem. I mean, it's crazy that you can go on Twitter and find dudes like the tweet I sent y'all where he's like, something about the game is like,
he's like, Deion goes over and shakes his hand.
Here's Deion going and shaking the other coach's hand at midfield. What a class act. It's like, yeah, that's what every coach does at the end of every single football game.
Did y'all see the one guy who said he was like, nobody watched college football before this year? Like, the only reason people are watching college football is because of Deion.
That's crazy.
I was like, I got to log off. I've had enough.
Yeah. The discourse has been unbelievable. Like how – put yourself in Lanning's shoes. How could you not be, like, a little bit pissed off when he goes on ESPN for an interview and the first 3 questions they ask him is about, like, not about the game, not about like Colorado's strategy, like Colorado specific questions. They're the first 3 questions they ask you. And you're sitting there and you're like, we're the 20-point favorite. We're the top 10 team in the country. We're the team who almost made the playoffs last year. But you asked me 3 questions about this team we're about to play. Yeah, I would take that personal too. And I would try to get that message across to my team, which he did. They responded to, and they killed them. So, like, what's the
when
deal
every
here?
media outlet is plastering some quote from preseason when he said, I don't remember them winning anything. Did they win anything? Which they never have. Like, you know, like he was talking about Colorado before Dion got there, number one, like as a program. And it just they're just plastering it. Boom, 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 boom. Every time you get on Twitter, you get on Instagram, it's right there in front of you. Like,
yeah, and this literally changes nothing about Colorado's season. That's the thing. Like, people, the people who actually haven't watched much college football and who have just tuned in, like, they're devastated by this, and they're trying to like make all these excuses, and it's you lost to a team that is established. You lost to an Oregon team that's been recruiting at a top 5 level for the past 5 years. That's college football. That's what happens. That is expected. That's what anyone who knows anything about football expected to happen. So, like, yeah, you just tip your cap to a better team. You're like, that's where we want to be one day. We're going to get there soon. And you keep beating teams that you should beat, which is what Dion has done up to this point. It's really been a successful season. Like, I personally feel like he could lose out if he has some competitive games mixed in there. It would be a successful season because he's going to recruit really well. And he took a 1-loss team or 1-win program to a 3-win program, and now he's got momentum rolling in the season. So,
next year they can be a 6-win team, and then maybe after that they can start bucking with teams like this. But there's just no reason to sit there being a pissy little baby about the whole damn thing. That's so
you're overmatched. It's part of football. It's what it is. The other 3:30 game that I was actually excited for, UCLA Utah, was abysmal.
Yeah,
that was awful.
Horrendous game.
I don't know if Utah has the best defense of all time, but UCLA could not move the ball to the very end of the game. It was tough to watch. Pick 6 on the very first throw that Dante Moore made. He looked like a freshman. He showed flashes of just being an unbelievable talent, which he is. He's going to be really good. He's going to be a problem, but he was just overmatched on Saturday. Utah looks really, really good. When they get Cam Rising back, they could be a legit issue in the Pac-12.
Yeah, no doubt. They have a big game next week. They play at Oregon State, who we'll get to that game, I'm sure. Crazy game between them and Washington State, but that'll be a good matchup.
Yeah. Moving on past the 3:30 games, Kansas and BYU was exciting. Kansas is good, man. I mean, Lance Loeffler should.
It's pretty fun to watch Kansas just kind of like just rise in the ranks like this. They're a good awesome football team now, and they're really fun to watch. Jalen Daniels is awesome. If I'm a Power 5 team, I'm throwing anything I have. If I'm Michigan State, I'm trying to get Lance Leipold with all that I have. Yeah,
he's good. He's really, really good. Arkansas LSU was awesome. That is the classic SEC matchup that we expect the Mississippi State LSU to be. Arkansas, we sat out here and poo-pooed on them for a little bit last week. We talked about Sam Pittman might be done. It sucks that he can't find a way to win these type of games. Like, he should have beat BYU and he should have beat LSU. But, like, that's what Arkansas can be, and that's why so many people were high on him coming into the year. And, like, you watch KJ just freaking throwing guys off of him in the backfield, extending plays, making stuff happen. Like, that's what he does. That's what Arkansas does. They just can't seem to finish it. And so LSU survives a pretty big win at home against Arkansas.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it.
Pissed me off. I got talked into LSU by the spread, even though I know it was a rat line, and then they still lost. So it pissed me off. I don't want to talk about this game.
That's just like those SEC games can get gritty like that.
They're fun.
That's what SEC football is. That's what makes it awesome. So
the rivalry, it was an awesome game. I couldn't stop watching it. You talked about Oregon State, Washington State, Griff. It really was a throttling. The final score was 3 points.
Yeah,
but
no, the final score was close, but Washington State is good. Cam Ward is good.
Cam Ward is so comfortable. Like, he just sits back there, like, directs traffic. It's like he's playing in the backyard. Whoever number 3 is for Washington State, I assume it's this Kyle Williams guy. Well, they had two guys who went for over 150 receiving. One guy Josh Kelly had 8 receptions for 159 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kyle Williams had 7 receptions for 174 and 1 touchdown. Whichever one of these guys is number 3. I had it on a TV where the volume wasn't up, so I didn't know any names. He made 2 one-hand catches that were absolutely unbelievable. Both of them were unbelievable. And he did it so nonchalant. One was a deep ball downfield. The corner is hip and hip with him. He reaches out in front of the corner, snags it, pulls it in, falls. The other one was a touchdown. They were both unbelievable catches. They have some weapons. They're good, and they win the Pac-2 officially. They beat Oregon State. They win the Pac-2.
Washington and Washington State is going to be an absolute shootout, and it's going to be awesome. When is that game? Is that last game of the year?
Last game of the year.
Apple Cup.
Washington State, guys, Washington State has a legit chance. They have to go to UCLA this week and win. But then they have a massive, probably be top 10 matchup with Oregon on October 21st. And then if they win that, if they somehow could win that game, then it would be going against Washington because they're not losing to Arizona State. They're not losing to Stanford. They're not losing to Cal. They're not losing to Colorado. Like, if we got an undefeated Washington State the last week of the year would be like it would be reminiscent of like Oklahoma State. It would be like Bedlam a couple years ago, which was sick.
I can't remember who told me this, but it was before last year. They were telling me all about this kid from Incarnate Word, Cam Ward, coming to Washington State, and I was like, "Yeah, I'll keep an eye on this guy." And like they were okay last year. Like he had some big games, and like now,
yeah,
he was just a year early because dude is like absolutely come alive.
He was good. He was good a lot of the way through last year. He just had some.
The team was awful. Yeah, the team was bad.
But this year he's balling for sure. So
balling. They looked like just so in sync and so comfortable, and it was fun to watch on him. I mean, he went 28 of 34 for 404 and 4. So
interesting part about this game. This was the second time a coach freaked out and yelled at an elderly stroke victim after the game about their prediction. This was the second. The first really? 2, maybe a little less embarrassing than the other one, but yeah, he said.
Who was it?
It's Washington State's coach, whoever he was. He was like, why don't you ask Lee Corso about that? I'm like, dude, Lee Corso doesn't know where he's at.
Well,
they have to wipe the drool off of his chin in between sets, man. Like, come on, he's a legend. But like,
I couldn't believe that. I looked up on my screen and saw Lou Holtz.
No,
I couldn't believe.
Guys, I'm not trying to be mean. I actually thought Lou Holtz was dead. I'm not trying to be mean. I actually thought he was dead.
Sitting in Jonathan's in East Ridge, I look up and I see Lou Holtz on the TV, and my jaw hit the floor. I was like, "That's Lou Holtz," and he's sitting there, and he looks like he's not gonna be able to get up out of that chair. God bless him,
dude. They made him.
I couldn't hear what he was saying because I wanted to hear it so bad. Though. Like Lou Holtz is hilarious,
dude. They made him retire
no.
Well, like 10 years ago, they made him like retire. They were like, "All right, buddy, you're done. Like, you can't do this anymore." Like, they bring him back up, and then Ryan Day's on that dude. You're like, you're bullying a guy who can't even stand. Like, shut up.
Good segue into that game. That game was awesome. Like,
it was.
That's peak college football. Ohio State at Notre Dame, 2 storied programs. Like, they put on a show. I was very pleased watching it. It was fun to watch. The Notre Dame green uniforms are cool. My first thought coming out of the game was Kyle McCord is pretty good. Like he's a tough dude. Like he struggled a lot. He did a lot of things in the game that's probably ill-advised. But then when it came time to get the ball back and go punch the ball in the end zone, he made some big time throws. I will
say, hilarious that Puffy pointed this out. He was like, he's like, Al Golden is Notre Dame's defensive coordinator, and then they leave a guy off the field 2 plays in a row to lose the game.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really, really bad. I don't know how that happens.
That's inexcusable.
I saw him say after the game, he's like, "Well, we didn't want to get a penalty." Well, they're on the
half-yard line.
So, like, what's going to happen? They're going to move it up to the quarter-yard line, and just call a timeout and don't have one. You know, pretty simple. I don't care if you get his freaking – or just run somebody out there, legal substitution. Whatever you have to do, push the guy down to the ground and get it
Don't play
down.
with 10. Don't play with 10.
Yeah,
They clearly didn't know they only had 10 out there. Like,
that's bad.
That was one of the dumbest things I've ever heard a coach say in my entire life. I'm not even joking.
yeah.
We didn't want to get a penalty on the yard line, so we played with 10 players.
That was the longest. That last drive was the longest, like, minute and a half drive I've ever experienced in my life as well.
Dude, it was emotional.
It lasted for an eternity. It felt like they got off 14 plays.
That's how I felt in that Temple Miami game, dude. I don't know how that went under.
Yeah, and then Ryan Day after this game, man, just everybody down here, Ohio. It's Ohio against the world. Shut up,
Born
Ryan
on
Day.
third,
You freaking dork.
Everybody knows that famous Ohio and the world rivalry like that's been going on for centuries. Who thinks about Ohio? That's what I want to know.
It's Ohio against the world. God, he's such a dork, and he's just not a good football coach. So,
everybody questions these guys. Nobody questions your players, dude. Everybody knows you have like one of the best rosters in the country every single year, if not the best. We question the guy leading that roster. So
we question the guy who can't ever win anything with all these awesome players.
Here's the tweet. Ryan Day is now 49-6 at Ohio State. You want to talk about burying the lead? Listen to this. The 6 losses. College football lost to Clemson, had the lead with 1:40 left. Lost to 15-win Georgia, had the lead with 54 seconds left. All right, sounds like you can't hold on to a lead, but anyways. College football playoff lost to 13-0 Alabama. Kind of burying the lead. You got your ass kicked that game. One score loss to 12th ranked Oregon. 2 losses to Michigan, both one-score games late in the fourth quarter. And he said he's good. Doesn't sound like it. Kind of sounds like you can't finish a damn game.
Right. So when the talent is equal, the guy loses. That's what that right there.
Sounds like you can't beat good teams. It sounds like you're
gonna run over Minnesota.
Beat up on Indiana. Yeah.
You're gonna run over freaking Iowa. You're gonna run over all these teams that you just supremely out talent. But when all talent's equal and it's a close game in the fourth quarter, your team blows it. This is the first game they've won like this in forever, and it might be his best win at Ohio State. In all honesty, it was really, really good. Like I was planning on coming on here and giving them all the credit in the world, and then he does this and he just looks like a big fool, just screaming at this female reporter. Like, calm down, bro. Like, awesome, you won the game. Be fired up. Don't be freaking pissed at Lou Holtz, man. The guy's not hearing you right now.
No, dude, he's in bed.
It was an impressive win from Ohio State. Like, I'm not going to sit here and dog them because it was a big time win from them. And they won it in a way that you wouldn't expect from Ohio State. They won it in a gritty, there's 31 total points scored in the game. They won it in a gritty game. It wasn't like just high-flying offense. They won a gritty game on the road. And, it was a big-time impressive win for them. But Ryan Day ruined it at the end. So I'm not going to say all those things.
So really, he still didn't finish it. He still didn't finish the drill.
He really didn't finish the drill. He still fell short at the end because he couldn't handle a 90-year-old man who might be in hospice care next week talking about his team.
dude, this had 2.
When I heard him say Lou Holtz, I laughed out loud. It was funny.
Somebody had the perfect opinion on it. It was like Ryan Day finally grows a pair of balls and finally gets a little chesty with somebody, and it's an 87-year-old man. Like, that's who you're finally gonna buck up to, buddy.
Go buck up to Harbaugh or something, dog. Like,
can't
stand I do not like Ryan Day. I'm so sick of him. He just I just want to see him. And it is a tough I'll cut him some slack to the point where it is championship or bust when you inherit a program that just won a national championship. Like, fresh off of it, when you come in, you get Justin Fields, and all of a sudden, you have all this hype, but it's because you're inheriting a team that clearly is national championship good because they just won one. So, at that point, the only way to elevate it is to win multiple national championships. He's got to one. He's only gotten to one, and he got housed. So there's a disconnect here. Like, He hasn't elevated any. He's kept the ship afloat, which is a noble, whatever I'm looking for, accomplishment. But it's not like I don't want to sit here and crown him like a top 10 even head coach when you have guys like Lance Leipold who literally pulled Kansas from the ashes. And you got guys like Sonny Dykes at TCU who literally took to the national championship year one. Like, it's tough for me to just throw Ryan Day in that conversation.
Well, and
I can guarantee you that born on third comment, I bet he hears that and just grinds his teeth at night every night before he goes to bed. I know that makes him so mad because that's such a nail in the head type of comment.
That was probably the best. That was one of the best comparisons I've ever heard.
I saw somebody comment the other day and said he was born on third and he's stealing second. I was like, pretty good.
Yeah,
but, dude.
Hey, but heck of a win. Florida State, they still have a lot of tough games ahead. Penn State and Michigan are both good, so we'll see what they really have. But that's a big win.
After that game, what do you think about them going into the Big House to play Michigan? Michigan, we haven't seen a lot from this year, to be honest, too. But
what it really means is they have room for error.
What it really looks like from the past 2 years is they have zero chance to go into Michigan and win that game. If I'm being completely honest.
Griff asked the question and answered
it. Well, I mean, I want to know what you thought too, but
Michigan plays like a decent opponent this week. I can't remember.
Michigan has not.
No, they don't. Never mind. No, they don't.
No, they haven't looked good at all.
They play Nebraska.
Nothing about what we've seen the past 2 years tells me that Michigan's not going to have what it takes to bully Ohio State again.
I don't know. That game, if you're asking me how does that game make me feel about Michigan, it gives me more confidence they can go in and win because that's a really good win against a very physical Notre Dame team. Very similar to Michigan, how Notre Dame is built. So, yeah, I have more confidence they can now. Do I think they will? No. But what it does do, like I just said, is it gives them much more room for error. They're allowed to lose that Michigan game now. They can probably still slide in the playoffs. So losing that one, then your margins are small. But they found a way to win it. So hats off to them.
Oh, also
That's
USC
about all I got.
Yeah,
they did not look good. I watched about half of that.
They pissed me off. I don't even know if I want to bet them against Colorado.
I feel like we're missing the game for some reason, but
I hit about all the high-profile ones and then some of the good ones that were played. So
yeah, I think we hit all the ranked matchups.
Yeah, I figured that'd be kind of a fiery episode, and it was. I had some things to get off my chest, so.
I said what I need to say.
I went 0-4 in my picks this week. I'm sorry if anybody tailed those. I'm
not sure what I went, honestly.
I'll try to bounce back next week. I'm really great about it right now. So
I think I went 3-1. I've come absolutely blazing out of the gates ever since I lost. I started off 0-4. No, 0-6. I started 0-6.
With the Colorado-Oregon over, I didn't take into account the fact that Oregon would jump out on them 42-0, and then Bo Nix wouldn't play for almost the whole second half of the game, and Colorado would score 0 points. I thought they would score a little bit, but they scored none.
Yeah, I also had that over.
Brother.
Take the what?
That's why you take the spread, brother.
I almost took Oregon team total, but that also wouldn't have hit because they just got up so damn early.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, the over wasn't even close to hitting, which is a dang shame. That's like a good over. But anyway, that's the show. We appreciate you guys. Like we said, like and subscribe. We'll be back later in the week previewing Auburn. I don't know if it'll have the same fire or not. Hopefully it does, but let's just go in there and wear them out for 4 quarters. That's all I'm saying. Just freaking pound them for 4 quarters physically. Pause. All right. Everybody have a good week.